Let me guess. You're probably wondering what I'm doing here. Well, you see, 200 years ago, Lafayette came here. Exactly. That French character from Hamilton. On April the 9th, 1825, he sailed up the Mississippi River on his way to New Orleans. Along the way, he passed by a system of fortifications established on the river, including Fort Balize, Fort Jackson, and Fort St. Philip. Today we're heading out to the river to find traces of his visit and see for ourselves what is left of those forts. This area has changed quite a lot since 1825, but perhaps the story of Lafayette's visit can show us what has stayed the same.
This is the lower Mississippi River model. Its purpose is to mimic sediment and water movement in the lower Mississippi River and kind of really reproduce those processes for how sand and water moves throughout southeast coastal Louisiana. So at the mouth of the Mississippi River, we have three branches. Southwest Pass going to the southwest, South Pass which is coming right at us, and then going off to the east is Pass Salute. And Southeast Pass is a little bifurcation or distributary off of Pass Salute going down to the southeast. So the Mississippi River formed all these wetlands at the mouth of the river. So all the sediment coming from Canada and most of the United States comes down the Mississippi River and spreads itself out over this complex we call the Birdfoot Delta, these marshes. And that black that you see, a lot of that is sediment, or sand, real heavy sand. So you can see as the river keeps that sand in suspension, it'll flow down Southwest Pass, it'll flow down South Pass, but if you look closely, there's a little less going down Pass Salute, and even less than that going down Southeast Pass. And what's happening is that eastern side of the delta is being sediment starved, so it's starting to erode.
Right, okay.
This whole system is very dynamic, and as Southwest Pass has captured more of the flow of the river, other passes receive less. So the original channel that was used for any significant terms of commerce was Belize Bayou, which went into Southeast Pass, which went into Pass Salute, and then up to New Orleans. So that was the original shipping channel back in the 1700s.
Try to get this map laid out. So this is the Bird's Foot Delta.
Okay.
You excited to be down here?
Yes, sir.
So when we came in, we came out here at the head of passes right past Pilot Town, and we came down to our camp right here. We call it Frog Hole. It's just off of this little bay.
Right off Pass Salute, right?
Yep.
So there used to be a French fort called the Balize, the Fort of the Balize. This is a map from a study made by the state of Louisiana. So it does show you the fort was right off the Southeast Pass, right? So do you think there's a way you can get us to the side where it was, or?
Yeah, I think that this canal here coming across is similar in shape to this one here, right off the map of current day at post-Katrina.
Okay.
And I know that area pretty well, so I think we can get in there very close.
Okay. So we searched up and down the bayou here. We even plugged in GPS coordinates. That's the closest we can get to the old Balize Bayou.
This is it. This is what you'll see from here until you hit the Gulf.
Well, we might have one more option that we can try.
This area of Louisiana has some really high subsidence rate, which means everything out here is sinking, going down quickly. It's new sand, it's new land, it's still compacting. So if you were to go out to Belize and say, I want to go to Belize and take a look at that place, well, it's not there anymore. I mean, it is, but it's about 6 to 10 feet underwater because that fort and all its weight has sunk in those muddy sands over the years. So Belize is still there, but it's well underwater, well under the mud.
Yeah, I mean, we're right on it.
Yeah. Hurricane damage.
Absolutely.
It was rebuilt, different locations, and I mean, I guess at some point people give up. I mean,
Yeah.
it's just you can only do so much and handle it for so long until you give up and move on.
So you can save yourself the trip. Nothing remains of Fort Balize. Maybe it's too much to expect an old historic fort to be standing proud today in a landscape like this. After passing by Fort Balize, Lafayette continued up the delta aboard the Natchez. Meandering his way upriver, he was honored by a gun salute fired from Fort St. Philip, near Bayou Mardi Gras. Fort St. Philip is hard to get to today. It's much easier to visit Fort Jackson, where a Lafayette Trail marker was installed. But, thanks to our amazing guides, we're heading to the opposite shore of the river now to see what, if anything, remains of Fort St. Philip.
Well, here's a piece of concrete. Yeah, that's it.
Fort St. Philip is a creation of man. But walking on the grounds where it was built, it is clear to anyone that the presence of mankind has become a distant memory. Bushes, animals, quagmires and marshes have taken over land that men abandoned to nature. The main difference with Belize is that this one is still here with us at the surface. In a way, we feel bad for it because we know what's coming and we feel like there's nothing we can do to stop it. Fort St. Philip has yet to concede to the river. Part of the original and added fortifications remain visible to this day. As they are, as a ruin, they tell us a story about ourselves and how we leave our marks on this world. Fort St. Philip might be fully submerged one day, but it will never sink into oblivion.
Your whole drive down through Plaquemines Parish, you're on Highway 23 and you're stuck between two levees. But once you break out of that, it's untamed, no protection here. You're in between where the Gulf of Mexico and the Mississippi River meet, and butting heads.
You guys
and-
survive. You just make it.
This is kind of the frontier. Like, this is the frontier of our civilization. That's like losing to Mother Nature every day, you know?
So what's the future for the camp here?
Yeah, I mean, I come down here and think that this is the greatest place ever as far as being an outdoorsman and hunting and fishing.
Whoa, what is it? Cat dad?
And I think that, you know,
That thing is big.
All right.
it's perfect. But what's sad about this parish, just like what's happened down here, you know, like La Belize and everywhere else, is these hurricanes continue to beat the area down. The people that have lived here and grown up here, and their grandparents have grown up here, and their grandparents have grown up here, have had to move away because the hurricanes just continue to beat down on it. So to find people that want to stay down here and continue to keep this heritage, culture, all these things going, it's going to be tough to continue to find people that are interested in keeping this up, because so many people have moved out of this parish. They've been forced. You know, it's not just the gnats and the mosquitoes. The hurricanes destroy their homes and they can't rebuild, and they move further north. That's what happens. According to the Advocate last year, which they have a newspaper article about it, and you can see our camp pictured in the article, there's 100 years left. Pasalutra's doomed. In 100 years, this will be the Gulf of Mexico.
Do you agree with that?
It's hard to disagree with it.
Meeting people like Chris, Lauren, and Nolan, seeing how much this place means to them, it's hard to think about the next 100 years. It's very clear that this sort of cultural heritage ties them together as a family. People here know that more destructive natural disasters are just around the corner, that it's only a matter of time. Regardless of pending threats, people go on with their own individual pursuit of happiness, just like anywhere else in the country, because they know that they can always rebuild somewhere else, just like their ancestors rebuilt forts. Resilience is part of who they are. It's also part of what it means to live here as a community. When you know that your environment can change abruptly from one day to another, you value the story, and you pass it along, because the memory of your home lives inside it. Home becomes more than a place. It's an idea with its own narrative. What keeps the community alive is the story that connects it all together, no matter where home goes.